If you haven't heard about Squid Game yet, you're probably living under a rock. It's the biggest sensation since the fidget spinner, and that already blew me off my chair. Now don't worry if you haven't seen Squid Game yet, there won't be any spoilers in this tutorial video, unless you want to keep the intro animation as a surprise.
Spoiler alert.
Then now is the time to close the video. Otherwise, let's fire up Adobe After Effects and I'll show you how it's done. Now, the first thing that I did was made a screen capture of Netflix, and that failed because you're not allowed to do that. So I filmed my display using my phone. I then put that clip into a new composition, which gives me a reference to where my animations should be and go to. Now we're gonna start off with the basic shapes, the squid. Although I don't really see a squid in this. But hey, I'm almost 32, my imagination is long gone. Let's start with the rectangle tool, but make sure that Bezier path is selected, otherwise we can't change the path anymore. If you did however forgot to select that option, then you'll be eliminated. Or you can also just right click on the shape property of the layer and choose convert to Bezier path. Now of course we don't want to give a fill color to the rectangle, but we are going to set a thick stroke of around 60. Now to make it ourselves easy, we're just going to copy and paste this rectangle, but before we're going to do that, there's a very important thing that we have to do first. You see, when you scale down this rectangle, the stroke will scale too. So we're going to have to adjust the stroke thickness as we scale these shapes. Luckily we can automate that. Head over to the stroke options from the layer itself and locate the stroke width. And we're going to alt click on the stopwatch, which will allow us to type in some codes. These are called expressions, and it's this little line of code that needs to come in here. Now don't start typing this over, guys. You can find the expression in the description down below, so just do a copy and paste. You can thank me for that in the comments. You're welcome. Alright, the basis is set. We can now duplicate the rectangle, which will take over all of its properties and that expression too. For the triangle, we're gonna need to create a new point and remove the two others, which you can do with the pen tool. The guidelines are gonna be your best friend when making such animations. Place one in the middle of the rectangle, which helps to set the tip of the triangle. We're going to use these guidelines all the time, guys. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Storyblocks, which I'm sure you're gonna find really cool. It's an ever-growing library filled with millions of video assets. One of their categories are After Effects and Premiere Pro templates. We can find some really cool logo reveals or intro animations on here. Simply download them and swap your logo in the project file to get an instant animation that looks amazing. Even for Premiere Pro, we can find many templates such as these lower thirds, which work natively inside Premiere. But apart from that, there are also tens of thousands of backgrounds. These are great for presentations or as a background for a text animation. Timo here, our editor, uses them constantly. Now their stock clip collection is really amazing. You can always find something for your needs in high quality 4K resolution, and oftentimes you can even find collections to get multiple shots from the same theme, location, or models. You can use anything from their library for commercial purposes, and it costs only a single price per year. There are no extra fees and you can download as much as you want. Now Storyblocks is not just a sponsor, we've been using it ourselves for many years now, and I would always recommend it to other creatives. You can click the first link in the description down below to learn all about it, guys. Definitely check it out. And now back to the Squid Game animation, and we're going to continue with the two circles. And there's a circle tool for that. Remember to add the expression for every new shape that you create, unless you're duplicating from an existing. So we've got the basis in place. We can now start with the animations, which is going to be the triangle. As in the example, it scales down to the corner. That's an easy animation on the scale property, but you want to make sure to take the anchor tool to move the anchor point to that corner, and this way it will scale to there. The big line under the triangle stays. That's just a duplication, and I removed the two sides. By the way, with the pen tool minus, we can remove points, and by right clicking on a side and choosing mask and shape path and then deselecting closed, you can remove a side line. Now that leaves us with a straight line, but we need the corner to be in an angle. But first, let's make that line a little bit longer on the left side. We're just simply going to make a mask. Now when you take the pen tool, make sure to select the masking option, otherwise you'll just create another shape. So cut off a piece from it and that's it. You're doing great. Next thing you know, you're hired for season 2 to make the intro animation. Just make sure to link to this tutorial. I would appreciate it. Alright, the circles, they unroll into a straight line and then roll back into another circle. Now when you expand the shape layer, we can open up a menu from the right and choose to add the trim paths property. Now this allows us to animate the stroke with either the start or or the ends. If the trim doesn't open up at the right spot, you can offset it with this option right here. Again, using guidelines, I created a new line that matched up with the circle. Here I animated the trim paths as well, and I made sure that the speed is in line with the circle animation. You can always use the original intro as the reference. I was constantly looking back and forwards. Now when you reach a corner, I basically created a keyframe for the path itself. Go one frame forward and drag out guidelines around the block. Then change the path of the shape and make sure that it fits within your guidelines. And so yes, it's gonna be a lot of work, but the end result is really cool, and you could even make the lines go to your own logo or name. The other circle, by the way, works exactly the same, and rolling it back up is done with the trim path as well. Nothing really special there. Now the sides of the big square come loose as they animate into a smaller square. Now to make it myself easy, I duplicated the square 3 times and deleted the points in such a way that I have each side in one layer. Now you'll notice a gap in the corners though. This is the line cap, which we can change from the stroke options in the layer. Change it to projecting cap and do that for all 4 sides. Now from there, it are the exact same trim and path animations that I did before. And this gives you the first animation from the Squid sign. I really don't see a squid in here. Then we have a whole bunch of extra smaller lines that appear. There is again nothing really special about these, just a line shape with the trim path animated. Now when you reach the 7, or that's at least what I call it, because I have no idea what this is in Korean, but it looks like a 7 to me. Anyways, it has this angled cut off corners. Now this is done using a mask, just like we've done before. This time we're not going to animate the trim paths, but just that mask. And now we come to these circles that pop up. Now we're going to run into a problem here. Basically, it's just a scale animation, but because of that expression, the stroke width constantly wants to adjust itself to be that certain thickness. And that's gonna make that circle suddenly appear instead of slowly scaling up. You'll also see an expression error, by the way, but we can easily fix that. Simply animate the stroke width from 0 to 60 as we can see right here. And that gives you a nice circle that scales up just like the original. The other circle is just a copy and paste, by the way. Alright, we've got the animation done. That wasn't too hard, just a lot of work. Now we have to colorize one circle, the triangle, and the square because of obvious reasons. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil anything. These are just randomly colored. We're gonna use one layer as the master, and all the other layers that need a color change as well are gonna follow. This is a very important technique when you're doing more complex animations. So we can simply animate the color of the stroke with keyframes. As for the other layers, we're going to use the Pick Whip tool from their stroke color property and link it to the master, on which we've just done the animation. Do this for all the layers and they will then take over that color animation. If we need to make a change, we simply have to do that on that one master layer, which is gonna save us a lot of time. Just a couple of more things, guys, we're almost there. Some of the lines cast shadow. Now this is nothing too fancy, just use the drop shadow effect for that. Again, look at the original to get a sense of how the shadow should look. I noticed that they were all kind of different. Definitely the angle was every time different. I guess that's a style choice. Anyways, you do want to make sure that the order of layers are correct, because with this drop shadow, you get a sense of whether they lay on top or under another layer. And now comes the last step, which is the chromatic aberration. Now I'm not really sure, but it feels like they applied this individually on every shape. That sounds like too much work, so we're just gonna create an adjustment layer and place that on top. And we're going to add the VR chromatic aberrations effect to it. Now just fumble around a little bit with the different settings until you get something that looks good. Make sure that it stays natural and subtle though. If you have Red Giant's universe, by the way, I would recommend using the chromatic aberration effect from them. You have much more options and you'll get better results. But either way, just make sure that it's subtle. And that's how you can make your own Squid Game intro animation. I hope you learned something new today, and if you would like to learn more about creating animations and expressions in After Effects, then definitely check out the playlist here on my left. Thank you so much for watching, thank you Storyblocks for the support, and as always, stay creative. Now click on it. Go. Click on it, guys. Come on, click. You're still here. Click on it. Finally.